it means the world hearing that, man, and it just goes to show you, like, I think our mentality as a group is, I think, with wrestling over the years, it's been very much a cutthroat industry. It's about, I guess, making money over friends, but I think you can make a lot more money when you're working with great friends, in my mind. And having that mentality of wanting to build, PWA as a whole, as opposed to just, yourself, is super rewarding, man. And the fact that, we all train together, we're all very comfortable with each other. If you really want to succeed, I think as a group, you need to train as a group. You need to be with the group, and it's just such a great feeling knowing that you're not just working towards bettering yourself, but bettering everybody around you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And, you mentioned, the world of pro wrestling is, for years it's been that cutthroat. It's like, oh, this person's coming up. We're going to fucking grind him back down. Like, you're not going to take my spot. And, like I said, even seeing how you guys interact with each other after the show, it was just, like, honestly, how you guys were interacting with fans and interacting with each other. It's like you can see that there's genuine love there. It's genuine care for the product and the brand. And that's something that, like I said, I walked away and I was just like, fuck, this is like something I've never seen before.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. I think with us too, it just kind of goes beyond just, in ring. I think, having those personal relationships, and even like just, interacting with fans. I mean, we all have such a love for pro wrestling, whether you be a wrestler or a fan, we all love the same thing. And it's just such a good feeling, man. And I think, if you're not wrestling to be happy, then why are you wrestling?
Yeah, I mean, if you don't love what you're doing and you don't love pro wrestling, and I think especially on the level, actually, you know what, at any level, because even at the top level over in the States, if you're going to go and be away from your family, your wife, your kids, your husband, your whatever it is that you have at home, and be away like 285 days a year, then you've got to have a love for it, and otherwise, why are you doing it? Like, you can get any job and get paid. Like, but
Yeah.
if you don't have that love for it, then you're just going to become a bitter person at the end of the day.
Well, that's it, man. And I think it's great having that rapport with your peers as well, because there are times where things can get pretty hard, and you kind of question yourself. This is from my own experience as well, but having that morale, and people next to you that just, we're all working towards the same goal, and we're all doing it for the same reason. It's just so rewarding.
Yeah, no, I completely get where you're coming from in that. But since you've been in the world of wrestling for 5-6 years now, do you still watch the product, and do you still watch it with like the same love and passion that you had before you got into the business?
Yeah, it's hard, man. It's one of those things where I find myself watching more matches as opposed to shows. So, prior to becoming a wrestler, I would watch a show from start to finish. Whereas now, I guess because I'm so into wrestling, I try. I'm a lot picky with what I watch, and I watch. I'm always going to be a fan. I absolutely love wrestling, but I find now that I'm really appreciating wrestling from the art standpoint as a pro wrestler, and trying to really, in a way, learn from what I'm watching. Because when I was watching wrestling as a fan, I guess I was so caught up in what I was watching, I kind of didn't really appreciate and understand what I was watching. But from being a wrestler now and training, I'm going back and watching these matches and really trying to pick them apart and trying to grasp, okay, they did this for a particular reason, and they got that reaction because they did this. So I do find myself watching it more to study and learn, but at the same time, sometimes, man, I still get caught up, just like I'm a little kid again. It's kind of a mixed match, and it really just depends on what I'm watching.
Yeah, and dude, I'm the same way, man. And look, to say it again, at wrist locks and pole drivers, man, I was sitting there, and I've been a wrestling fan for many years. I've done a wrestling podcast for almost 12 months, and dude, like I was like fucking, I find myself, if I'm watching a good match, I can become invested in it, and and that's the thing that makes wrestling so great. It can take even non-believers and non-wrestling fans out of that element. you know, and my wife, who's never been a wrestling fan, just never had any time of it. You know, I was watching an old Lufisto match when she fought Black G's in CZW, and this was back in 2005, where intergender wrestling was it's almost there, but it wasn't as big as what it is now. And like my wife's like, oh yeah, you're watching this. By the end of the like almost near the end of the match, my wife, who's never enjoyed wrestling, was on the edge of her seat, going, "Come on, come on!" Like she was like that invested. She knows it's a work. She knows it's predetermined, but she was able to let that go and just indulge herself in that match. And when I see like non-fans of wrestling do that, I'm like, now you get where I'm coming from. Now you get where the rest of us motherfuckers who have been enjoying it for years are coming from. And that's the thing, to get people to enjoy it at that level. And you know, that's the thing. Even like I said, you as a worker, to be able to sort of still get that, it's good that you still have that love for the business.
Yeah, I feel like you have to, man. It kind of humbles you in a way, and kind of reminds you of why we're all invested in the first place.
Oh, dude, 100%. But you know, one of the questions here that we have from Joel Southgate, who is a regular at PWA shows and Australian wrestling shows, he wants to know what was going through your head when you snapped your ankle.
Shit, that was pretty much just what was going through my mind. Thankfully, it happened at a point where it was just before the finish, and I had thought I snapped my leg, and then I looked at my leg and was like, "Oh no, it's still in place, but it hurts." And then it just got to the point where I was like, "Okay, let's just finish the match." Did that, and then it was pretty much like, "Well, you know, okay, how serious is it?" That was pretty much the biggest thing going through my mind was, yeah, okay, what's next? Is it surgery or is it going to be okay?
What happened? What was the next step after the injury?
It was surgery, man. But it was one of those things. I was 6 months in, so this happened in August of 2015. So I was in wrestling for about 6 months at that point. And in hindsight, looking back, I'm kind of glad that something like that happened so early in my career, because it was kind of like another reminder of, there are really serious risks in wrestling. There are very serious risks in the style that you wrestle. Is it something that you really want to continue in? And then a real step in, are you going to be able to, I guess, make it? And, you know, everybody has injuries. No matter, there's risks no matter what we do. It was surgery, man. It was just 4 months of rehab. Thankfully, I was estimated to be back by 6 months. I was back in 4. Performing on shows again. So it all worked out, man. I've still got a plate in my ankle. It's like it never happened, man. So it all worked out in the end.
Did it go through your head of going like, do I want to continue this? Like, you know, did that run through your mind at any stage?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, man. Yeah. As soon as it happened, I was like, yeah, like, you know, what if it happens again? And then it just came down to the point where it was like, well, like, I can open a door and drop dead the next minute. Like, you know, there's no guarantee for tomorrow, man. You might as well just do what you want to do. And you know, there are risks with everything, dude. So, you know, shit happens. It happened. I'm okay now and I'm still going. So, yeah, it went through my mind. Is it going to be worth it? But, you know, it certainly was, man.
But that's the thing, man. There's risks in anything in life, man. And if you live life in the world of what if, then you're never going to experience, you know, what life is all about. And you know, and that's the thing, you know, that happening earlier in your career, it's probably a blessing, because then it's like, okay, this is, and as you said, it's like the style that I wrestle is dangerous. And that's the thing. Wrestling is a lot of things. It's predetermined. You can call it choreographed.